Yeah, the CBA is coming up. I can't wait.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
Angel Reese's statement, a prophecy fulfilled? What Angel Reese is about to say feels like a prophecy coming true, and it has fans shaking their heads in disbelief. Just 2 days ago, fans relentlessly mocked her for a statement she never actually made. Yet it sounded so believable that many fell for it, harder than a Kyrie Irving fake. The controversy started when NBA Sentinel, fresh off an X-ban, returned from the digital graveyard and dropped a tactical nuke that racked up millions of views, taking more victims than a hawk-eyed crypto scam. The fake quote claimed that WNBA players deserved NBA-level salaries, a topic that always gets shut down immediately due to the WNBA's financial struggles compared to the NBA. Or, frankly, compared to any self-sustaining business. WNBA players demanding NBA-level salaries is like expecting my Ford Fiesta to run on 93-octane premium gas. It doesn't matter if I'm saving a few cents per gallon at Costco, it just doesn't make sense. Yet, the fake quote sounded real enough, and many fans took the bait. Just like countless others before them, they got sentled. Everyone had a good laugh at their expense and moved on. But as the saying goes, art imitates life, and just a few days later, we got the perfect example. Angel Reese went on her podcast and made statements that proved exactly why Sentinel's fake quote was so believable. And this time, fans weren't just laughing or mocking her. They were genuinely concerned. I'll break down her full statement in a moment, but the essence of it is this. She threatened the WNBA to give her and other players what they wanted, or else. And if that or else became reality, the consequences would be massive. If she and other players followed through, it could be disastrous for the WNBA, potentially killing the Caitlin Clark momentum and causing irreparable damage to the league. What she described has happened in other professional leagues before, and the results were far from pretty. So, here's what happened. Recently, a statement attributed to Angel Reese started circulating on social media. It suggested that WNBA players should get equal pay because, in her words, our shorter season makes our games more valuable, and some of us play at a higher level than some NBA players. It's simple math. If you look closely, though, this was Sentinel's work, meaning the quote was fake. Over the next few days, news outlets debunked it, clarifying that Reese never actually said it. And yet, plenty of people believed it, even though
I just hope y'all know, the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills.
Look, I get it. You're making less than the assistant to the regional manager. But it's not like you're living off instant ramen every night and splitting a $1,200 studio with a roommate named Skur, who owns a pet cobra and hasn't showered in a week. Angel Reese is living in an $8,000 a month Chicago apartment, and considering she's pulling in millions through sponsorships, her complaints about money didn't sit well with a lot of fans. And then there's Angel's reputation as the WNBA's drama magnet. One moment, she's chasing the spotlight. The next,
she's a beautiful young lady. And there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on.
Look at it this way. When people were told they had been sentled, their response was, well, it sounds like something she'd say. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Fans also didn't hold back when it came to her on-court performance, pointing to her poor finishing at close range as one of the main reasons she doesn't deserve another dime of WNBA pay. If they weren't calling out her objectively bad shooting, they were accusing her of stat padding, grabbing rebounds off her own missed shots just to rack up double-doubles. And yeah, to be fair, Angel laid enough bricks last season to rebuild the walls at Wrigley Field. But after the dust settled, everyone moved on. At least, they did, until 2 days later. That's right. Just 2 days after all this, Angel was back discussing WNBA salaries and the upcoming CBA negotiations on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel. In case you're not aware, WNBA players recently opted out of their collective bargaining agreement, CBA, because they want higher salaries and better benefits, and they believe they can get them now, thanks to the league's recent growth. Like this video if you know exactly which player is responsible for that growth. Anyway, Angel doubled down, saying she and other players deserve more money, which, to be fair, isn't really being disputed. But then, reality hit her harder than the ton of bricks she laid last season. She realized that the rookie class of 2026 would have a higher salary than her. For those keeping
The year after, they're gonna get more. They probably gonna be making more than us.
They are. They are. Like, yeah. I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the.
You need to come to the
I
meetings.
gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us. If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility for real.
Yeah.
She's essentially threatening war on the WNBA if she and the players don't get what they want. She claims the players will drag out negotiations as long as necessary until their demands are met, even if that means cutting into the 2026 season. In other words, they'll take their ball and go home. T.O. make her stance crystal clear and prove it wasn't a fake or manipulated clip. She posted a video on X with the caption, "If y'all don't give us what we want, we're sitting out." So, in just 48 hours, we went from parody to reality. She's 100% serious. In response, most people just copied and pasted their usual reactions. Honestly, it seems like people don't understand supply and demand anymore. She's really lost her mind. WNBA games can barely fill the stands unless they're playing against Caitlyn. Sitting out is only going to make things worse for them. And that last point? There's truth to it. More on that in a minute. That I could go into all the commentary, but there's a reason why people are frustrated with Angel and other WNBA players regarding salary demands. The league simply isn't profitable and never has been. Consider this, the NBA generates $12 billion annually, while the WNBA is lucky to reach $200 million. The WNBA is heavily subsidized by the NBA, covering about 60% of its expenses, because it consistently operates at a loss. In 2024 alone, the WNBA was $40 million in the red, and that's with Caitlin Clark bringing attention to the league. The WNBA has been around for nearly 3 decades and still can't turn a profit. Even Little Timmy's lemonade stand generates more profit than the WNBA. Maybe he should get a McDonald's meal named after him. Looking at the league's financial reality, you have to ask, why should WNBA players get paid more when the league loses money every year? The only answer: Caitlin Clark. While many players and media personalities hate to admit it, deep down they know the truth. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's savior. Before she arrived, the league was struggling with half-empty arenas, flat TV ratings, and bleak financial prospects, about as bleak as my chances of dating Sydney Sweeney. Then 2024 happened. Caitlin Clark entered the chat and suddenly, the Indiana Fever went from practically giving away tickets to selling out 17,000-seat arenas, setting a WNBA record with over 340,000 total home attendees. Road games? Same story. In DC and Atlanta, over 20,000 fans showed up to watch Caitlin play, forcing both the Mystics and the Dream to relocate to larger venues just to fit the crowds. Her impact on TV ratings? Insane. Viewership skyrocketed 170% with Caitlin's games averaging 1.2 million viewers, 200% more than games without her. Her games alone accounted for 45% of the WNBA's total broadcast value. Merch sales? Through the roof. Indiana Fever gear sales spiked 200%. Her number 22 jersey outsold all others, by a margin that would make Michael Strahan's teeth jealous. Local businesses near Gamebridge Fieldhouse saw a 25% boost in sales on game days. Caitlin Clark generated $36 million in economic activity for Indianapolis and accounted for 27% of the WNBA's revenue. And yet, even with all this, the WNBA still lost $40 million last season. It could have been much worse, but a loss is a loss. However, there's optimism that the WNBA could finally escape its financial death spiral and thrive. Here's why. Last year, the WNBA secured an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal, meaning the league will bring in at least $140 million more per year than before that with their current TV deal now. Obviously, this momentum is all thanks to Caitlin Clark. So, if there's one player who deserves to be making more than $70,000 a year, it's her. And while plenty of haters are hoping and praying for the Caitlin Clark effect to fade, the Kate train has no brakes. The Indiana Fever just sold out a 15,000-seat preseason game against the Brazilian national team, which, let's be honest, has about the same star power as a YMCA rec league. Resale tickets are going for thousands on StubHub. Again, this is preseason. Then there's the Chicago Sky, who just proved that the WNBA is a one-player powerhouse by moving their home games against the Fever to United Center, which has twice the capacity of Wintrust Arena. They can't fill it on their own. But with Caitlin in town? Suddenly they need more seats. This is exactly why her comments are going over like the Hindenburg on a windy day. the WNBA players are set to renegotiate their collective bargaining agreement, CBA, this year, hoping to cash in on everything Caitlin has brought to the league. Right now, WNBA players receive about 9% of the league's revenue, compared to 50% in the NBA. Naturally, they want a bigger cut of that Caitlin-generated TV money, and honestly, they're in a pretty good position to get it. Rookie salaries could finally be higher than a TJ Maxx shift leader's paycheck. Max contracts, while nowhere near NBA levels for obvious reasons, could provide a solid living for the league's top stars if all goes well. Lower-tier players could stop selling clothes on Poshmark just to make ends meet, and top players could skip off-season side shows like Unrivaled and actually rest. Overconfidence from non-Caitlin players could tank this progress faster than a DJ playing Pa at a rave. Angel isn't alone in this. Natasha Cloud is also out here, pushing for the WNBA to prioritize players, a noble idea, but not rooted in economic reality. The WNBA has been a financial black hole for 27 years. Even with Caitlin, it's still begging the NBA for financial support. You can't pay players more than what their economic value justifies. It's supply and demand. Angel Reese is arguably the second biggest draw in the WNBA, but ask yourself this. Are the Chicago Sky playing every game at the United Center this year, or just when Caitlin is in town? That tells you everything you need to know about who's driving the Brinks truck. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's the WNBA's entire pulse. The league was chugging along like a rusty old jalopy until she arrived, turning sleepy games into sold-out circuses and bringing in casual fans. The WNBA had never been able to attract before. Shut her off with a short-sighted work stoppage and you kill the momentum. Pull the plug now and it's back to empty seats and awkward silence. Good luck clawing out of that grave. Think I'm exaggerating? Just look at what work stoppages have done to far more established leagues. MLB's 1994 strike was a train wreck. Fans left, ratings cratered, and it took years to regain trust. The NHL went nuclear in 2004, canceling an entire season, and spent the next decade begging casual fans to care again. Now compare that to the WNBA, which is still in its infancy, trying to turn, "oh cool," into, "I'd sell my kidney for tickets." It's fragile, still growing, and banking on Caitlin Clark's shine to lock in long-term fans. If MLB and the NHL, with all their financial cushions and screaming superfans, got wrecked by work stoppages, then a WNBA sit-out would be an extinction event. Even a short-lived strike could alienate the league's fledgling audience, torch all the buzz, and leave the WNBA scrambling to rebuild from scratch. Everyone wants to see WNBA players earn more. But it has to make economic sense. That it's fine for Angel and others to be confident, but they also need to be cautious. The players will get better pay, thanks to the league's $200 million per year media rights deal. Hopefully this is just bluster, and Angel is simply doing what she does best, getting a rise out of people. Everyone needs to remember, and honestly be thankful, that Caitlin Clark is the